Hey everyone, Stephen Meyer here, owner of Phenomenal Carpet Care up in Madison, Wisconsin. This video here is brought to you by encapstore.com. Whether you're looking for pads, cleaning products, or equipment for everything VLM, go to encapstore.com. Got that done in one take. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you my very simple 4-step process for cleaning most water cleanable upholstery using the VLM method. So if you've never cleaned upholstery using the VLM method, this is definitely a video for you.
Wait a second. Is this your first time?
Yeah, Tommy, it is.
God, you're going to remember this the rest of your life. Get ready to live.
Before getting started, here's a few disclaimers. Number one, it's very, very helpful and advantageous to you, the cleaner, to take an upholstery cleaning course before you clean any client's upholstery professionally. Number two, everything in this video is strictly for water cleanable upholstery. And number three, I highly recommend you try these methods and techniques on your own upholstery or on some sort of test upholstery before you take them into a client's home and do paid for work. Okay, now that we've got all the disclaimers out of the way, I like to start every cleaning I do, regardless of what I'm cleaning, with a good solid pre-vacuuming. I personally use a shop vac that I have dedicated for upholstery cleaning, and I use a floor tool. Mind you, I only use this on upholstery that has that little squeegee on it, because what that does is it actually grabs onto the cat hair and the dog hair, and it seems to pull it off real well. But regardless of what kind of vacuum or attachment you use, make sure you get a good quality pre-vacuuming before you begin your upholstery cleaning process. Alright, so the next step in the process is to do a pre-spray. I like to broadly apply my pre-spray, and I will mist it on as much as possible. A light encapsulation product works great for this. For example, Simple End Cap works wonderful. 2 to 4 ounces per gallon is really all you need for anything between light and medium soil. And the amount of product you're going to apply is going to depend more so on the soil that you have on the couch as opposed to just a general rule. So the less soil, the more lightly misted, less physical liquid you can put on. The more soil, the more you need to put on, because water is the vehicle for that soil to be removed. So the more soil there is, the little bit more product, physical liquid you need to put on that upholstery. Okay, so the next step in the process is to do the actual extraction, the cleaning of the upholstered piece. For me, I like to use a Makita polisher number 9237C with a dry 2-way pad. I will move slowly across the piece, making sure to overlap by 50%. I'm careful to get all the angles and crevices, but I'm also really careful to not run that machine at too high of a speed. For me, and the pace I like to work, about a 2 to 3 on the dial seems to work great. But if you're someone who works slower, you're going to want to move slower with your speed. If you're someone who's going to go faster, maybe faster will work better for you. You need to find your specific settings that work best for you. But here's the important thing. Do not work at a speed that's so fast that you run out of product. So if you apply your product on the upholstered piece and you go too fast, you'll run out of moisture, and now you have an issue where you can risk damaging the fiber or the fabric because there's now friction introduced. So be careful that you don't run too fast, because you'll become hot and you could actually burn your way right through the actual fabric. And while we're on the topic of damaging upholstery, pay attention in this clip about how the angles at which I'm working those cushions. These cushions are attached, so I can't flip them over or treat them separately. But be careful that you practice before working on a client's piece of upholstery, that you get your angles of attack correctly and your speed isn't too high. If you don't practice this, you could risk damage to the upholstery, and more importantly, you could hurt yourself if you're approaching upholstery cleaning with a spinning disc machine at the wrong angles or at the wrong speed. So practice is really key to keeping yourself safe and keeping yourself from having to buy a piece of upholstery because you damaged it when it could have been avoided. All right, so now that I've got the cleaning portion done, I'm going to go back over this couch one more time with a secondary vacuuming pass, and I'm going to do it for 2 reasons. Number one, if there's any lint or hair that you kind of kick up from the edges and from the crevices, and you know, no matter how much you pre-vacuum, you're going to usually find a little something. This is a good opportunity to grab that. The second reason is because this is microfiber, setting the direction of the fiber of the fabric is really important, because if you leave a handprint in microfiber when it's wet, when it dries, that handprint may not come out. It's not universally true, but in a lot of cases, you need to set the direction of that fiber singularly in one direction so that you have a nice even appearance once it's dry. So doing the vacuum and using the squeegee of this tool has worked really well for me because I'm able to not only get that vacuuming done, but also to set the direction in one step. Now, you could set the direction of the fibers using a horsehair brush or a microfiber rag, or even, quite frankly, your hand going in the same direction. You can get that accomplished, but this does accomplish it in one step. Okay, so now that I've got the cleaning done and the post-vacuuming done, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the entire process by speed drying the fabric. And I do this for two main reasons. Number one, there's the obvious benefit that I get the couch clean and dry quickly for the client. They can get back to life as normal. But there's a secondary benefit, and this is bigger and more important to me, and that is that if you have heavy liquid stains or drink stains, saliva stains, or a general level of filth that's pretty extreme, those contaminants can reach the backing of the fabric. And I don't care whether you're cleaning it with VLM or using a truck mount with an upholstery tool. Universally, this is true that you cannot always get everything out. And for really, really, really heavily contaminated sofas, what can happen is you can remove as much as possible, but if there's still any more remaining in the backing through capillary reaction as it dries, that will make its way to the surface. So by speed drying it, much the same way with carpets, by speed drying it, you significantly limit the chance of those spots coming back. And if they're going to come back, they'll usually come back before you leave, which gives you the opportunity to address the issue and save yourself a trip in the future. Well, that about wraps up the entire process there. I hope it was as good for you as it was for me indeed. And if you have questions or concerns, especially if you're getting just started in the business and you're just starting out with VLM and upholstery, if you have questions about what products to use, what pads to use, anything that I haven't covered in this video, this is a great starting point, but you're going to want to practice. Practice makes perfect, as they say. And so reach out to Damien if you have any questions. Reach out to me via Facebook Messenger, and hopefully you will find your process that works for you, and you'll go out and really master it. All right, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.